Hey, Anna, how are you doing?
Doing great. And can you hear me well? Do I have a delay as well? I just want to congratulate you guys on this grand opening, and that is my first grand opening that I'm participating in. I'm super excited to be here, so thank you for having me.
Oh, we're thrilled to have you. We couldn't have an opening without you.
Oh,
Hmm.
I'm sure you would, but thank you.
Sorry, just handling that question. Yes, so George, is it George? George Broussard. Oh, nope. I lied. Oriana Green answered it. So yes, it's white. The answer to the house in Zork is white. Oriana Green, go ahead and message me on Discord and we'll get your gift out to you. So, yeah, Anna, Michael, speaking of the microphone, let me hear, make sure everything's good to go, Michael.
Hello, how you doing?
There we go.
Ah,
Well,
there we
Good.
go. In case people don't know, Michael is Yak Wax Lips on YouTube. He also has a podcast that is fantastic. Go ahead and make sure that we send out links for all of those. So thank you all for coming on. And he's going to be co-hosting for the next hour. And we got Anna here for a while. I guess I'll throw the first question out at you, Anna.
Yeah,
How
go ahead.
how has the reception of Kapia been?
I'm, I was absolutely blown away. I mean, we've done a lot of work on it, and it is our first game, so we didn't really know what to expect. But I mean, the comments were absolutely astonishing, and the way that people understood what we were talking about was absolutely astonishing. Because I mean, the story of Copy, it's a little bit complicated, in my opinion. But you guys just cracked it in a second. I mean, you got it 100%. You got the message. You got the importance of the message, and it was a very nice experience. It was the experience that made us look into into pursuing this career further.
Oh, a complicated story is just another puzzle for an adventure gamer to figure out, right?
yeah.
Oh,
But
that's a good way to put it.
it is a complicated world, though. Can you tell us a little bit about the world of Kapia?
Yes, well, it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi kind of world where the East and the West has gotten into the war and the bombs started flying. So people are forced to survive under protective domes, and essentially they have forgotten as to what had happened, and they don't really have a lot of information about what had happened. And this guy, Stefan, he goes out on his personal quest to find out the essence of the war, and his granddaughter. She helps him out quite a bit because I mean she's just a very outgoing person, and she's needed there.
Well, that sounds like a very serious backdrop, but Kapia is not sort of a dark and gloomy game, right?
I wouldn't say it's a dark and gloomy game. I mean, of course, people can find dark and gloomy wherever they if they want to find it, but I think it's a more of on the comical side in a way because it does have a lot of humor in it, and I mean flying cats and talking dogs and things like
Whoa,
that. And
whoa,
we
take it
did
easy.
we did want to go light into this dark background, but we still wanted to have it there because it's important for the message.
Yeah, I may or may not have been one of those talking dogs that you're speaking of.
Hmm. I guess people will have to play and find out.
Really? Even I didn't know this.
Oh, I didn't know
A
that, and
little
I've
voice
played it.
acting role for you, Joshua?
Yeah. Michael, you played the game, right?
Yes, I have. I played it on release. It was
And you had an opportunity to interview Anna as well. So this is the perfect combination to have you folks in there. And it's a great time for me to actually go ahead and use the restroom. So take it away, gentlemen.
he's off. Yeah, so I think we spoke about 9 to 12 months before the game was released. It was about that
That's
anyway on my
correct.
on my
Yeah.
podcast, Point and Click Adventures. If you want to check it out, YouTube and all that. Um, yeah, so obviously that 9, 12 months passed, the game comes out, and it's as it's your first game, the amount of work put into it is just phenomenal. I mean, where did you start? Where did you go? I know, I'll build my own engine. I'll create my own, lore. Like, how did you get started on that?
Well, I can take all the credit for the engine because I mean it is Unity. But the fun thing about it that we did start on our own engine and then we switched to Unity because I mean we just realized that we won't finish this massive project if we just keep building our own stuff. But we did do a lot of implementation of different technology. I mean, we did use our motion capture system and things like that that helped us. And the most challenging part about it was that we wanted to stay independent throughout this. And of course, when you want to have an independent project, something like finances, they play a big role in it. But miraculously, we did manage to pull ourselves through to the point of Kickstarter, where we did get a lot of help on our final stage of development. And this is why you see the game in this released, beautiful view.
Yeah, it's a really ambitious game. Like it would be an ambitious game for any developer, but a first-time developer, I mean that shocks me. What kind of background did you have that you felt that you could tackle something this big?
Well, my husband, he's a coder, and we did do it. The two of us did this, and he's a great programmer, and I love him to death, and of course. But we did have a lot of smaller projects that we worked for people, not our own projects. So we did gain a lot of experience through that. And I did the modeling for the game, and my husband did the programming and animation, of course. And I also did the writing. So it is very, family project.
Right.
It was quite intimidating, and we did feel the scale of it. And of course, we did this. That one mistake that no one should ever do as an indie game developer, and that is take too big of a game project, as your first game project. And of course, we did that, and this was our probably mistake because I mean it would have been easier on us if the scale was a little smaller. But I guess it turned out all right since we finished it.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, kudos for that. There's many games that start and never finish, so to have something of that scale finish is amazing. And it came out January this year. Is that right? Back into this year.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. So that's nine months ago now. That's quite a while to you've had time to sit and digest and realize what went right, what went wrong. I mean, are you going to delve back into a sequel? Are you looking at a new world? I mean, what's your next steps?
Oh, as a game developer couple, we entertain ourselves in our free time by creating new games. So our next project was pretty much ready in our mind at the point when we finished. So we just dove, straight into our next game, and I'd say it's probably just as ambitious as Kapia was, but I think
you've not learned your lesson.
Yeah, a lot of lessons learned. I mean, and we just go straight into our next one. So the next one is going to be probably quite complicated technically. Not as big of a scale, but technically it's going to be quite complicated because we're going to have a character whose decisions influence the story. So we are going to have a few storylines in there involved, and we are going to be okay. So following Ken Williams is going to be quite a challenge right now because I mean everything that I'm going to say is going to sound like I just made it up because we are going to have our game on the boat.
Getting quick and call it Boat Quest. Up Quest.
Boat Quest. Okay, you're gonna come up with a name for me, and then I'm gonna have to just go with your naming.
So, have you had an opportunity to tell people much about the game besides I know you've been showing it off quite a bit. But do you want to take a moment and kind of tell us something that maybe we haven't learned yet about the upcoming game?
Well, as I just said, I mean, it is going to have multiple stories in it. I mean, multiple sets of events that are going to be influenced by characters' decisions. I don't want to reveal, like too much about the story itself, but it is going to be kind of very personal couple thing. So maybe we should, keep some suspense here.
Okay.
And there's going to be a boat and the couples thing. I mean, following Ken Williams is ridiculous here.
No, it's perfect. It's the perfect following because Ken and Roberta had their little boat adventure, and so that's fantastic. So obviously you've released Kapia, and it's done well from what I understand. It's on Steam, it's on GOG, and
Yes,
so
it is.
now I know you're completing or working on this current game, and I know Michael asked you, "Hey, are you going to be working on another game soon?" Do you have any ideas of Kapia 2 coming in the future? Because it looks like there's a lot of room there.
Oh, maybe because I mean, it is our hobby to, expand on the games and just make them up. But at this point, we are going to be working on something different. It is quite different stylistically, in my opinion. I mean, it still holds the original kind of style that we had in Kapia, but it is going to be very different. It's going to be more high poly, maybe more polished. Something that we wanted, some things that we wanted to rework in Kapia, we are going to put into this project. But maybe in the future, I mean, if we will have good ideas for it.
I think Joshua just wants to reprise his role as the dog, to be honest. I think that's what he wants.
Yeah, that's what it is for sure.
Bigger part next week.
Well, you took no time off too. I mean, Kapia right into developing. How did you do that? Especially being a husband and the wife team. Like, how's the back end when you come home or you stay home and say, you know what? I think we're going to maybe go on a vacation. Any of that? Mm-hmm.
It's just, we wanted, but then we ended up just, throwing ourselves into this next project. I don't know. I want to say we had so much fun creating this one that we just couldn't stop. Maybe that was something. I don't have an answer for that because I mean I haven't lived through it. It hasn't been enough time yet. I don't know how we ended up doing this, but I mean we're probably gonna keep going with our next one just the same way. It's just how people just can't live without their art, and in a way this is our art, so we just can't stop at and have a vacation. It won't be a vacation without doing something.
I'll ride that wave as long as it'll take it, right?
Well, yeah.
So
The burnouts are always a threat, but I don't feel this threat right now because I mean we do try to schedule our time in development very carefully so we don't get tired of something, and it's just two of us so we can switch from one task to another and have that spark going.
So did you just kind of bring your own, obviously you have your own vision for this, but did you come at it sort of from your own sort of separate vision, or were you influenced, like do you have any background in game, not background in making games, but you played adventure games,
Oh yeah, throughout my childhood, yes, that was something that helped me become who I am, I guess, in a way. You don't want to, overemphasize this, but of course, I mean, every book you read, every movie you watch, and every game you play is something that makes you. And I believe that adventure games were a big part of it because, I mean, I enjoyed the stories quite a lot. That's probably my favorite part about adventure games is the story, and when I feel that this connection, it really is something that sticks with me for a long time because I'm a very visual person, and have this essentially a book visualized in an adventure game is something that is really important.
Go ahead, Michael. I know you have questions. Go ahead and jump in there. I'm going to handle some stream maintenance here, my friend.
Stream maintenance. So you said that you split the game. So your husband did all the coding and stuff, and you did the writing. Now the story is quite intricate, and it's really gripping. So you've got, I mean, for a start, we've been over the fact that it's your first game and it's all big, but then you decided to do two stories essentially. You've got Remy and you've got the grandfather.
Right.
Like, do you have a writing? Do you have a background in writing? And how did you decide to come to that particular story?
Oh, that's a great question, Michael, because this was my biggest fear in the whole project, because I literally have no background in writing. And this was something, it was a huge challenge for me. So I did have to teach myself as to how to do it. And for that, I spent, I'd say, like half a year at least, and then throughout the project more learning how to do it throughout lectures, throughout books, and just watching a bunch of videos on YouTube, and just understanding as to how to communicate that story that was in my head, and of course in my husband's head, because I mean we did discuss as to what we want to do together. And I'm glad that it turned out coherent, and that people understood where we were coming from and what we wanted to communicate.
Well, I guess this is a good time to throw another question out. Do you guys mind if we throw a trivia question out to the audience? And then we'll jump back into our next question. So
I haven't got any of the trivia questions right so far.
Oh, really? Some of these
None.
are really easy, and then some of them are like ridiculously hard for me. So, all right, we'll throw out what I consider to be an easy one. LucasArts' The Dig was originally pitched to NBC's Amazing Stories nearly a decade earlier by what director? All right, so again, LucasArts' The Dig was originally pitched to NBC's Amazing Stories nearly a decade earlier by what storied director? First one gets the cake, if there's cake.
We need some Jeopardy style music that plays.
Oh, here, hold on. I got something. There, I gave a buzzer just in case it's wrong. So I can't hear. That's why I want to be able to hear like some of these sound effects that I have in here, but I can't hear it on that end because I don't have it set up. So Matthew gets it immediately. Steven Spielberg, and Zuki is right behind him. But Matthew, go ahead and send me a direct message on Discord, and we'll get you your gift. All right.
I'm going to slot in there and say The Dig is the third best LucasArts game. Just going to leave that on the table for everybody.
Underrated. Very, very underrated because it gets compared to its brethren far too often. Very different. You just actually did a stream about that not too long ago, correct, Michael?
Hey, about what?
About The Dig?
No, I talk about it a lot, but I didn't do a stream about it. But I definitely talk about it a lot and say that it's underrated. Definitely, I think it's brilliant. People complain that the puzzles are quite obtuse, which for LucasArts games, yeah, they are. But I like the difference. I like the fact that it's different to everything else they've done, and the music is the best soundtrack that LucasArts has done. So, I mean, that's a conversation for another time, but yeah, definitely.
And that's a pretty good transition to ask you, Anna. So, what are some of your inspirations for becoming a developer, an adventure game developer?
What inspirations? Oh, there's so many. Of course, I'm a standard answer, right? There's so many. I don't know which one to name. But I do enjoy 3D. Mm-hmm. So I would say Grim Fandango was one of the biggest hits for me, and we'll just leave it at that. We'll just say Grim Fandango. It's not big enough.
Yeah, there's not many better than Grim Fandango. Truly a masterpiece.
What about influences on the world of Kapia? I want to call it steampunk, but it's not really that. I mean, steampunk doesn't typically have cats in mechanical suits. So, like, where did that come from? Not the cat in particular, but just like
No, the cat in particular. We wanted to have this mix of something bionicle on one side and something really mechanical on the other side. And when we actually lived in, we started making Kapia when we lived in Latvia. And a lot of the world was influenced by the surroundings of Riga, Latvia. And this is where maybe the setting came from, the antique walls and things like that. But to add the contrast to this setting, we wanted to do, something really robotic. So this was the collision that produced this effect. I can't really say that stylistically we were following some path, because I mean we did want to make something of our own, and that was the part of why we wanted to do independent stuff, because we want to keep doing things that we want to do. Once you want to go into I don't want to say publishing or things like that, but you do have to explain yourself a little bit more. So I guess we just came up with the style. It's it's something that we always enjoyed doing in art and in storytelling.
the new game share the same general kind of universe or totally different backdrop?
It is going to be a different backdrop, but I would say that characters are a little bit of a similar style, because I mean we do want to keep of what we had and pursue this stylistic development, but it is going to be quite different.
Anna, you're an absolute treasure. We appreciate all that you have done for the adventure game industry. You're helping bring the adventure game industry back to where it belongs, at the top of all the gaming genres. And we are thrilled for the success of Kapia. It's in my top 100. Everybody, top
Oh,
100.
I know. It was so cool to see it there. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. And I'm wishing you great success on this new beginning. And I'm sure it will have a great success. So I don't think this will be the last time that we speak.
Oh, it definitely won't be.
Anna, we look forward to your upcoming game, and you have an incredible, incredible day.